Ready.
Okay.
Yeah. Can you see my beautiful shoes? I just want to make sure because these shoes, you could write home about these shoes.
Girl.
Look how good they look. My dad was in his building and he was working, and my mom called him, and she said, you need to come home right now. And he was like, what? She was like, you just need to come home right now. And this goes back to my parents' love, right? Because my mom somehow knew that my dad was in.
Hi, I'm Cynthia Day.
And I'm Anna Cantu.
And you're watching
EmpowHER.
This is a podcast designed to inspire and empower high-achieving women through powerful conversations on home, mindset, and business so that you can live fully, lead boldly, and create a life that feels just as good as it looks.
So today's guest is none other than Artemis Kourosh. She is Southlake-based estate planning attorney who helps families and business owners to protect their assets, secure their legacy, and create a true peace of mind. Yes. Welcome.
Oh, thank you.
We're so happy to have you.
I love being here with you two. You two are true boss babes.
Oh.
And I'm just excited to be here with you.
Well, from one boss babe to another,
Exactly.
I mean, you've been recognized and featured in Southlake Style magazine countless times. You've also been recognized in D magazine as one of the highest recognized lawyers in estate, probate, and business law.
It's been quite an honor. I never imagined that my career would turn out like this. This was never what I thought would happen. I've been really, really blessed, and mostly just because of people who have just been my friends along the way and have taught me and helped me, and just people like you guys have just been so amazing in my life. And I think everything that I've achieved has been because of the connections.
100%.
Of the heart, not fake connections, but
correct.
True connections of the heart.
Absolutely.
Yes, and that's why we want to know more. So Artemis, what led you in trust and estate planning, and why is this work so important to you personally?
Oh, personally. So people don't often ask you why your work is important to you personally. Mm-hmm. So in order to talk about why my work is so important to me personally, I have to explain a lot of different types of stories. The story of my country, the story of my parents, and the story of my own personal life. So maybe we should start with the story of my country.
Okay.
So my country, and I'm a proud, by the way, before I even say the story of my country, I want to say that I'm a proud Texan and I'm a proud American, and I'm so blessed by this country and to be here in this country. And this is also my country, but the country that I was born in and the country of my heritage. So my story probably starts in the 50s. In the 1950s in Iran. And in the 1950s in Iran had, 28 generations. So the civilization that the Persian people come from is probably one of the oldest civilizations on earth, about 7,000 to 8,000 years old, right? So we had 28 kings and monarchs in our land.
Yeah.
So my country, the country of my birth, there's 28 monarchs, 28 generations of monarchs. And then because Iranian civilization is 7,000 or 8,000 years old. So in the 1950s was our first democratically elected president. And so what happened is that the people of Iran were so happy to have this democratically elected president. But unfortunately, because the democratic elected president told the British especially that they could no longer have Iranian oil for free or a very subsidized price, that they would have to pay, right? Then the British created a situation with the United States, and the CIA and the British actually overthrew the Iranian president in the 1950s. So it was a British and American led, and these are actually all like open records, right? And the United States totally admits to this, and So then what happened is that they installed the father of the Shah of Iran, so the one that was overthrown. So they installed him, and he was sort of like a Western puppet, right? And then so his son was, because they were Persians, his son actually did the same thing. He started to turn against letting the British take Iranian oil, because Iran still has 17% of the easy to get to oil in the world, right? So what happens is that the U.S. and the British become upset again, and it's mostly the British. They convinced Jimmy Carter that the Iranian king should be deposed. He was Mohammed Shah, and this is 1979. Right? So my parents actually in the 60s got married, and they had what is called, back to the story of my parents. So my parents got married in the 60s, and they had what is a love match, which is very, very uncommon for their age group, because actually my mom is a Lor person, so she's from a Lorish tribe, and they're fighters. And my dad is from the Jewish tribe, right? And they're from Hamadan. So my mom is from northern Iran, my dad is from southern Iran, and in Iran, today that this happens a little bit more, but people like my parents don't usually marry, right? And so they actually had to fight for 1 year to be allowed to marry each other. So they were asking, please, can they get married? Because in Iran, they couldn't get married without their parents consenting, right? So what happens is
Hi, I'm Cynthia Day.
And I'm Anna Cantu, and we are Day and Cantu Luxury Homes here with eXp Luxury.
And we help families create abundance through the love and the harmony of home.
We are luxury real estate professionals here in Southlake and the surrounding areas.
So give us a call when you're ready to transition to your next level of luxury.
they come together, and they asked their parents, please, that they get married, and because they wouldn't go away, right? Because they were just like annoying the heck out of their parents and begging to get married and all this stuff. Their parents both agreed that they would allow them to get married if they would promise not to see each other or talk to each other for 1 year. Right? So what happens is that these two, they agree to the terms, and then during that 1 year, my mom's family tried to force her to marry everyone else, right?
Wow.
But she fought so hard, she wouldn't agree, she only wanted to marry my dad.
That's amazing.
So then, and in that time, this was just unheard of. People just did what their parents said.
Wow.
So my mom and dad got married in the 60s in Iran, and they were a love match, and they loved each other so they still live. They've been married 55 or whatever years, and they're so happy. Anyway, so they're this love match. So then what happens is that, so then the 70s come, and I'm born in 1975, and then 1979 happens. So this is back to what I was telling you guys about. The British and the Americans were unhappy with the Shah, Mohammed Shah, which was the Shah of Iran. So what they did is that the people of Iran the people of Iran they've always wanted a democrat, because they remember their democratically elected president from the 50s, right? So they've always wanted to go back to democracy. It's always been a fight for democracy, right? So the people of Iran were protesting in the streets, and they wanted democracy and all of these things. And then, but the British had made Jimmy Carter think that the Shah of Iran, because the Shah of Iran didn't want to give the British their oil, because BP, you guys know British Persian, that's what the BP is for. So BP is the British Persian Oil Company. So they wanted to allow he didn't want the British to be able to oil and get all of Iran's oil for free again. So the British convinced Jimmy Carter that they should bring in the Ayatollah Khomeini. Now, at that time, the Ayatollah Khomeini was a very well-known Ayatollah, but unfortunately, his only accomplishment had been writing a book about raping children, how it is okay to rape children, babies as young as infants.
Oh my gosh.
This was, and still, this is his great legacy, is his book about how to rape children. So this is a total fact. You can read about it. His book is published still. You can read about it. And so basically, I think the Americans, being very naive to the facts of what's going on in the Middle East, right? The British were able to convince the Ayatollah Khomeini, and they were able to convince Carter that the Ayatollah Khomeini should take over Iran, right? And so what happened is that Carter started putting pressure on the king of Iran to leave Iran. Does that make sense to you guys? And then and then at the Conference of Guadeloupe in early 1979, in actually the 4th through the 7th of 1979, Carter actually met with the Ayatollah Khomeini over a phone conference and actually talked about helping him come in with the British. And with the British, Carter talked about helping him come into Iran. So the deal is that, and they were all working together, like conspiring to put this, Ayatollah Khomeini in charge of Iran. So what happens is that my dad was one of the #1 importers of heavy equipment into Iran, like, heavy, just like building equipment and things like this. So in order to bring in the Ayatollah Khomeini, they had to kill about 20,000 or run off, mostly kill 20,000 people who were the top leaders or well-known business people of Iran, right? Because otherwise, why would a people like Iranians, who are only like maybe 3% of Iranians believe that they're Muslim, right? Which is fine. We're good with 3% or whoever they are. But the Ayatollah Khomeini is an Islamic cleric, right? It's an Islamic government. So Iran is made up of some religions and only 3%. So the religions of Iran are Zoroastrianism, which is our native religion, right? And so a lot of Iranians are Zoroastrian. And remember, you guys know about Zoroastrians, because remember the 3 kings? They were Zoroastrians.
Oh,
remember
okay.
That?
Yeah.
They were the Magi were Zoroastrians. So the thing is, the other religion that a lot of Iranians are is Christian. Another religion that a lot of Iranians are is Baha'i. And my family is also Baha'i. We believe in Jesus. So, and then 3% of Iran, and Jewish, and Jewish, and 3% Muslim. So 5 religions, but maybe the least of which is Islam, right? So, in order to bring this Ayatollah Khomeini in, they had to kill a lot of people. So my dad was at work one day, and he was in his skyscraper, and still to this day, when they show the Iranian Revolution on CNN, they show the skyscraper of my dad. They actually show a video of the skyscraper of my dad's skyscraper burning down. So in downtown Tehran during the Iranian Revolution. So the thing is that my dad was in his building and he was working, and my mom called him, and she said, "You need to come home right now." And he was like, "What?" She was like, "You just need to come home right now." And this goes back to my parents' love, right? Because my mom somehow knew that my dad was in horrible danger.
Wow.
So, and no one knows how she knows. She doesn't know herself. And he was like, "I'm in a board of directors meeting." And she was like, "No, you have to come home right now." And because he loves my mom so much and would do anything for her too, he went in and said, "Hey, we have to have this meeting some other time," and he left.
Wow.
Within 5 minutes.
Saving grace.
Yes. Within 5 minutes, there were these guards that had been uprisen to kill all these people, by foreign powers, stormed his building. They started to beat up everyone. They shot up his office with AK-47s, everything. They burned his building down and to try to get him, right? In the meantime, he was driving, and I was home with my mom, and I remember being 3.5 years old. And I remember people just started coming into our house, and they were coming in and they were crying, and we didn't understand what was going on, right? And so the thing is that, so then and we didn't know this, nobody would tell us what was going on, but they had announced on the radio that they had killed my father. Okay, so, but my dad was on the road. So then my dad shows up, right? And everyone's like, oh my God, what are you doing here, right? And so then they told us what had happened. So I remember my grandfather came and he had a big stack of American bills and he gave it to my dad and he said, you guys have to run, right? So then for 3 days we drove around trying to like go different places to kind of, and then that was Thursday, and then our flight was on a Sunday, so we were able to get a flight out of Iran on Sunday.
Oh my
But
gosh.
my dad had
What
sent
a
some people to the
story.
airport to go get tickets, right? And one of his workers, and they were able to buy tickets. So apparently, within 15 or 20 minutes of us leaving, the Revolutionary Guard got to the airport and they were too late. And they stormed our house within hours of us leaving, they got to our house. So they were behind us the whole way. So we were very, very, very lucky. So then what happened, so that's why the story of my parents' love is really important. And then the story of my country. So then what happened is we came to the US and my mom and dad decided that Texas would be the best place for us because we wanted to keep our heads down, because actually people like my dad, they killed them in places like London, California, and New York, people that got away from them, right? And remember, my dad's only crime was not being an Islamist, right? So the thing is, and when we say Islamist, we don't mean Muslim. Muslim is a person who believes in Islam or in God through Islam, right? Islamist is a person who believes that violence should be used to make everyone do as whatever, nothing to do with Islam. It's just to make everyone do whatever they believe.
What a difference.
So it's a big difference, right? Okay.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry.
And then, so what happened is that, so we came to Austin. So we came to Austin so we could keep our heads down, right? And then, so this had been my childhood. Now, and kind of on the run. Are you okay?
Ooh, sorry.
No, you're good. So this had been my childhood, and of course, once we got to the United States, what happened is that a lot of our family members in Iran were killed or imprisoned.
Oh my gosh.
Right. So then we were happy to have gotten out, but also it was horrific because to realize that you had left your family and your family had been killed or imprisoned, right?
Gosh.
So it was horrifying. It was a very traumatic, event. Anyway, so then it just kind of continued. So then I started going to school in Austin, and I remember, okay, so this started when I was 3.5. So by the time I was 5, we were in Austin.
Hi, I'm Cynthia Day.
And I'm Anna Cantu, and we are Day and Cantu Luxury Homes here with eXp Luxury.
And we help families create abundance through the love and the harmony of home.
We are luxury real estate professionals here in Southlake and the surrounding areas.
So give us a call when you're ready to transition to your next level of luxury.
And my parents took me to an estate. This goes back back around. I'm sorry, I'm going
This
back
is how it starts.
Yeah,
Right.
sorry. It's a very long story. So then what happens is that my parents take me to an estate planning attorney. And now remember, we had been on the run, our family had been killed, all of these things, right? So my parents take me to an estate planning attorney at 5 years old. And the guy shows me on the paper that if something happened to my parents, now remember, I always knew they were in danger. My mom would say to me, if people storm the house, you run, you do this, you do that, because they always knew we were in danger. Because remember, they had killed people like my dad, other places. If they found him, they would have killed him, right? And even later on, even in the late 90s and early 2000s, when people that knew my dad in college, when they'd go in and out of Iran, like they'd hold them in prison and ask them like where my dad was. And then when they come back to the United States, they find my dad and say, hey, they're still looking for you, right? So the thing is that, and remember, his only crime was being Baha'i and not being like them. So the thing is that, so what happens is they take me to this estate planning attorney, and this man shows me on the paper that if something happened to my parents, that I would have guardians, and they were people that I knew. and loved, right? So like one of them was my dad's best friend from Iran, which at that time was living in England, right? But I knew him, right? And so this gave me such a feeling of tranquility. I immediately felt like, oh, because this had been my life, this stress, this pain, this run, you know? And immediately that it put an end to that. And what happened is I felt tranquility and I felt that I could keep going. And I said, whatever that guy does, that's what I want to do.
That's amazing.
And so today in my world, in my life, I mean, it's such an honor to serve my clients, right? Because I know that I'm bringing them tranquility. And I know what it is to not have tranquility. And I know what it is to have tranquility. And to feel, and if I can be a bridge between their non-tranquility and their stress and their suffering, and a bridge to tranquility, you know, because terrible things happen in life anyway. There's no way we can't stop death. We can't stop litigation. We can't stop illness. We can't stop incapacity. But what we can do is we can have a plan, and when we do have a plan, then that plan leads to tranquility. And to be that bridge between that stress and tranquility, to me, it's like the greatest honor. You know, it's the most amazing thing.
I love that for you.
I know,
and I love it for everybody else too.
Yeah, no kidding. And to have to experience the joy of tranquility after being through so much fright, I mean, fear. You guys were literally fleeing for your lives.
Yes. And they would have killed us if they had gotten us. So we knew that because they killed many members of our family and our friends. And
that had to have been so heartbreaking and crushing and frightening, especially as a little girl.
Yeah, but you know, every day that I can serve my clients, and I can bring them tranquility, I feel like I do that for the people I left behind. I do it for me, and I do it for the client. You know, so it's very fulfilling. It's like every day I get to heal and live a life of tranquility and joy and see the tranquility for others instead of living the fright.
Right.
You know?
And it shows. I mean, you're always with a big smile on your face, with just that glitter glimpse in her eyes. Like, yeah, this is you.
Thank you, my darling. But it's like I feel like no one can understand the meaning of tranquility unless they felt completely frightened beyond belief.
Wow.
Right. So with that being said, was there a belief that you had to let go of, you know, fast forward as a woman in law now, right? Was there a belief that you had to let go of in order to step into your authority, right? And to experience this kind of success in your field?
Okay, so you know that there was some kind of psychological research, and it was like on the front, it was on in the Washington Post and the New York Times and all this stuff, that 75% of men feel like in an emergency they could fly a plane.
Oh, wow.
Do you know about this?
No.
Okay. So it was like something like 60% or 75% of men, like the vast majority of men feel like in an emergency they could fly a plane.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So this is the thing. So as women, our society continuously makes money, makes all the waves through creating insecurities in us. You know, a lot of the economy is based on creating insecurities in us. You know,
marketing,
sell us more stuff.
Right.
Yes. So we all, no matter what incredible people we are, look at you two and look at me. No matter what incredible professionals we all have imposter syndrome. Right? We all feel like
me?
Yes, exactly. But not just that. But it's also like we feel like really? That's what that's how amazing I am. You know what I mean? And so the thing is that what I have learned, and I learned this from my mom has this distant cousin right? His name is Kiamars, and he's a very successful business person. He's built himself up from nothing, right? And he literally just said to me one day, you just have to go forward. It doesn't matter how much insecurity or, because you won't know that you can or can't do it unless you do it.
Right.
And so I have to remind myself 100 times a day. I can do it, and if I can't, that's okay too.
Oh, there
Love
you
that.
go.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if I can't, then I will take whatever consequences of the can't there is. But then if I don't, then I will have the consequences of can't anyway. You see?
Yeah.
So you have two choices every day, right? You either can and do, or you don't and can't. So don't and can't is the same as, and so you might as well try.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think a good rule of thumb is instead of asking, can I do this or can it be done, the better way of forming that question is how.
Yeah.
How can I acquire this? How can
Yeah.
this be done? How can I become the person that would do the thing?
Yeah.
Right?
And then also, like, at some point, I mean, it's like, as moms, we're really, really, really equipped for this, really more than anyone else. Because from the moment that baby comes out of our body, we think, oh my God, what if they die? Right? I mean, don't.
Yeah,
am I
the
gonna do
first 2 weeks were torture. I was like, is he still breathing? Is he still breathing? Is his neck right?
Yes, exactly.
Very
And
true.
even then, it's like your child's out there. My child's out right now driving home from school, right? And I'm thinking, I hope he makes it safe,
Yeah.
right? Because the thing is that we're constantly thinking, oh my gosh, please don't die. Please don't die, right? I mean, all through their life. I mean, today, I'm sure my mom, as I'm driving, she was like, drive safely. It's raining a little. You know, it's like every day we're like, please don't die, right? So the thing is, as business, if you translate that into a businesswoman, right? You constantly think, okay, this is the worst that could happen,
Yes.
right? And then but then you just say, okay, well, I just have to keep going. And that's what you do when you see your child and you think, please don't die. So you also just do that as a businesswoman too. So we're really equipped for this because we do think, okay, well, if this goes wrong, then I could lose it all. You know what I mean?
Well, I have it on my last name, can too.
Can't do.
Don't say that you can't because you can too, Anna.
So we can all
Anna
too.
can
If somebody can do it, Anna can too.
Yes.
There you go. I get reminded every day. So, well, let me ask you this.
Does that make sense? Before
It
you ask
does.
more questions, does that make sense? So you guys
Yes.
It does,
saying?
yes.
Like, so if you, so we just face the worst case scenario and then just say, well, I faced worst case scenarios all the time. Let's keep going. And you just have to go.
It's that choice that you
Yes.
make early in the morning. How do I want my day to go? Is it going to look bright and sunny even if it's raining? Or am I going to become the victim of the problem?
Yes,
Oh.
exactly. And as a
Intentionality.
Yes.
How empowering.
Yes, it is so great. And as a lawyer, I mean, anyone can make a mistake, but you just really, I feel like in my heart, I care so much for the client and I want to make sure that they get the best. So that often takes me to a better place for them than someone who and just to go and do it for them. You know what I mean? Then, you know, sometimes there's a lot of people out there in every profession who don't care.
Very
Don't care
true.
about the client. And if that client becomes the victim of one of those people, right, then they're in a world of pain. So I just say, I've got to do it. I've got to do it. I've got to do it right. And I've got to do it perfect. And because the thing is I want them to make sure that they have the best result. Right?
Well, since this is Empower Her, I want to know this about it. So who is the woman that needs your help right now? And what does she need to understand about protecting her assets?
That every woman needs my help right now. Because the thing is, and that's one of the greatest things about being an attorney, is that, I mean, it's one of the greatest joys of my life. People say to me, people call me all the time and they just ask legal advice. You know what I mean? And I just give it to them. Because one of the greatest joys of being an attorney is you know so much about how everything works. that other people would never know, so I really love, like, I mean, people say to me, oh, you just give so much free legal advice, you shouldn't do that. But I don't see it like that. I see it as like this abundant blessing that God has given me to be a lawyer, that I can just, and it's like the more I give legal advice, the more I like receive like everything from,
That's just beautiful. I love that. You're empowering others by giving that free advice, whether they pay you or not, and you're okay with it, and I love that.
But it empowers me too. Like, it's like the foundation of what like lifts me up when I take my first step out of bed every day.
And how purposeful and how seamless everything came together. I mean, you guys got to experience this experience as a young girl, right? As a young family. And then you guys overcame the impossible.
Yes.
You found something that then became your purpose.
Yes.
And now you have this conviction that comes from your purpose.
Yes.
And this is how you serve humanity.
Oh,
it's your
such a
whole
joy.
being.
It's
It's literally all of you.
It's so great to be me.
And that's why I say it shows. Like, this woman is
Right.
always smiling.
Yeah,
I have
you do
never
lead with
seen
your
you
heart, Artemis.
like
That is
not
true.
smile. Like, seriously.
That is so true.
It's crazy. Like, how do you do it?
Well, I mean, I'm so blessed. Like, let's talk about today. Okay, so today I didn't know, and everybody should know this. I didn't know that I thought this was just like a podcast like Voices. So I came in yoga pants, looking all, looking all,
Stylish.
No, not stylish.
You did. I love the shoes.
I came in some boots, and my hair all like this from the doctor. And I came in and I realized, what? And then she took me in the back and she got me all dressed up in this beautiful outfit, did my hair. Look at these shoes. Wait, everybody's got.
You have to show those shoes.
She put these shoes on me. Look, these earrings, and then Anna got everything together out here to me, it's like I feel this, like, and that's the thing. It's like the joy and the generosity of God that flows through, and I'm not saying God like a man, or God like, I mean God as in like the being that is like with us and in us, right?
You're always taken care
goodness.
of. You're always, provided for.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I feel that so much. And this is the thing. Like, when I got here, you got to look at me and said, you're not dressed right. That's not what happened. She said, oh, come with me. I got clothes for you, shoes and everything. And I just feel like there's this, but I just feel like the God that flows through the people that that are in my life. Like, I feel this, like, I just feel like there's this incredible energy in my life. And like, look at it. Like, even in every way it manifests. And in every day it manifests. And I'm just so grateful. I just don't even know like how else to be.
And that comes down to the intentionality that you talked about earlier. I mean, every day you wake up and you expect your life to be abundant.
Yes. And
right?
I expect, but it's kind of strange, because sometimes, every once in a while, you'll get to that one person who doesn't treat you how the rest of the world treats you, and have that energy. Because this is the thing. So, like, the energy attracts people like you guys, right? And your energy attracts me, right? Which is this tribe of like just these abundant blessings flowing it down. But then every once in a while, you come across that person, right?
That you get to bless, that you get to show.
That'll just be straight up mean. Like, even my clients are so nice to me. Like, other attorneys come and say, like, you have the best clients. I don't even understand how you have the best. I have the best clients. There's this guy who, like, he wrote the book on estate planning, and he's always trying to buy my firm, right? Because the thing is that is that he knows I have the best clients, right? And even if like something goes wrong and in my office, I mean, I'm not saying I'm hurt. Nobody here is perfect, right? Things go wrong.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, speak for
It's
yourself.
just life. You mean life? Life happens.
Make me look beautiful when I come up looking. You know, so maybe you're always perfect. That's true.
No, girl. Perfectly imperfect.
But then but like they're even nice to me. Like my clients, like, you know, lawyers constantly complain about their clients. I don't even have anything bad to say, but I don't even have a single client that hasn't paid me. You know what I mean? I've never had that problem. I've never had the problem of clients that get angry with me because something happened. It's never happened. You know, because, you know, I mean, and so, but then every once in a while there's that person whose energy does not jive with people like us, right? And so that's the interesting thing. So when I meet that person, and it doesn't happen often, right, I realize that they're the outlier, right? And so that, because in that way I understand that their energy, because there is also the other energy in this world, right?
Of course.
It just so happens that we live in this energy.
Right.
Yes.
Right?
Opposites are complementary,
Yes.
right? How can you know one is one thing without the other?
Yes, exactly.
We choose the good
Oh,
energy.
that's such a great deal. So when I meet those people that are like, right?
And you get to show them with gratitude and love and grace
But then,
what it's like to be on the other side.
but then I'll also be grateful from now on because I realize that they make me, they show me the contrast. Like,
There you go, 100%.
yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
That's
there's
smart.
always a blessing in that, girl.
Yeah.
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 Absolutely.
But they're around, but we only meet them very slightly, right?
Because we attract who we are.
Thank God.
That's right. Light attracts light, baby.
Hell yeah. So for someone ready to take action, Artemis, what is the best way to get in touch with you?
Okay, well, everyone should have estate planning because if you don't have estate planning, all these horrible things can happen, you know. But I mean, call my office. But the thing is that, for example, one of the things, and just talk with me. When you see me around town, talk with me. Because one of the things we need to do as women more is we need to talk about, and this is why what you guys are doing here, not just you guys are amazing, but also what you're doing here is amazing. Because we need to talk more about business with each other. Because, you know, men, what they do is they give each other tips and tricks, and they're always pushing each other up in business because they have conversations about business. Right? And so we as women need to talk more about, you know, creating LLCs. So, you know, because if you don't have an LLC, you don't have protection. If you don't have estate planning, if you don't have a trust, for example, you don't have protection. You don't have if you don't have, you know, guardians assigned. You know, one thing that women really need to think about is that if you don't have a certain document called a guardianship that outside even all the protections the trust gives you, all the protections that a will gives you, all the protections that LLCs give you. But it's like one document that people never think about is a guardianship in case of a need for a guardian. Well, if you don't have this temporary guardianship, then CPS can come and get your kids if something happens to you, right? And so you need to think about, so I always make that document for everyone, making sure that not only do they have a permanent guardian, but a temporary guardian for their children. You know what I mean? So that CPS is not the
That's
one
such
that
a
picks
great
up your
information. I
kids.
mean, I didn't know.
I didn't either.
But every single person needs a plan. A person without a plan is not, I mean, that's, I mean, to me, I mean, we all know as businesswomen, right, that planning is everything. So for our lives, for the succession of our businesses, like you guys for the succession of your business, need a plan, because if one of you becomes incapacitated, right, the other one will lose control. You know, so you need a business succession plan, and that can be done through your trusts. You know, and a plan for our lives. I mean, the thing is the plan in a trust is not a plan just for death. It's a plan for life. Because one of the things that we get in our trust is we don't name our trust like the Artemis Kourosh Trust or the Anna Kourosh Trust or the CynthiaDay Trust. We name our trust, you know, Empower Her, or we name it something else. So that creates anonymity, right? And so the thing is that this is not a plan. People mistake estate planning. They think that estate planning is a plan for death. And that's not what it is. It is a plan for life, which also travels into death. You see?
Yeah.
And so it's really important. Every person needs estate planning. And whether you have kids, you don't have kids, whatever your situation, if you have a business, especially if you have a business, because you don't ever want to put your partners in a situation where they have to end up in probate court if you die, but even worse than that, if you don't die and become incapacitated, they can completely lose control of your business, and it can be a disaster of unmitigated, like an unmitigated disaster, and so this is a plan for life, so every person needs it, so I think that was your last question, but I wanted to go back to that because I think you didn't really
That was so important and so good. I mean, you just taught us something new today.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's a ton of value, Artemis.
I'm so glad.
Thank you so much for coming today and actually for educating us on the history of Iran. I mean, like right now, it's all over the news and we're hearing about this Ayatollah and we're hearing about all of these things. But for someone to actually, tell us from an experiential point of view what, the history is like.
Can I tell you,
right?
would you guys mind if I told you a little bit about these Ayatollahs?
Please.
You know that they imprison, right now there's hundreds of youth ages 10 to 15 on death row right now. They're executing hundreds of children and youth and other people every single day for just wanting to have a free life. And then not only that, but since the year 1979 and 80, they have trafficked 1 million girls and women a year. I know people in Iran who have suddenly, their daughters have disappeared, their wives have disappeared, and they have been trafficked by this regime. So this is part of their GDP. They literally mow down people in the streets. They massacre their own people, and this is what they have been doing for the last 47 years. So the amount of terror and rape, and that there's a law in Iran that if a woman goes to prison, she must be raped. Because the thing is, the Ayatollah Khomeini actually talks about this. It's one of his edicts, that she must be raped because she can't be killed and then be a virgin, because virgins, according to the Quran, in his crazy mind, go to heaven. So must be raped. So they mass rape, they mass traffic, they mass massacre the people of Iran, and this is what they have done for 47 years. So it is really important that the American people realize this. That this is, and not only that, but this regime funds Hamas, Hezbollah, and every terrorist group in the Middle East is funded and executed by the Iranian regime. Like their plans are executed. They are the nerve center of all of that is evil and bad in the Middle East and in that part of the world. And so they are not only just mass massacring and raping and torturing their own people on a daily basis. So that during 48 hours, they even said that they killed 40,000 people. We think the number of protesters that were killed in this most recent protest, and remember, the Iranian people have been protesting against them since 1979. By the way, they've killed millions and millions, but they say they killed 40,000 in 48 hours. We think the number that they killed in this protest is probably plus 100,000, right? They arrested, they even gave this number, they arrested plus 300,000, right? And now they are mass executing them, as well as arresting others and mass executing them. So these people are generally not Iranians. They are invaders, and they are holding the Iranian people hostage in their own country and torturing and mass executing them. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I just wanted, as long as we have a chance and you're talking about that, I wanted people to know what is actually happening in that country. So
I think it's important to bring that kind of awareness.
Yeah.
And this is a great platform for it.
Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to talk about it, because it's so important to me that people that hear my voice know the truth of what is happening in my country of birth.
And you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, how could people know that?
Unless they're living it or
Yes.
exposed to
Yes.
it, right?
And you know, the internet has now been off for more than 3 months in Iran.
Yeah.
Right? So like
Yeah.
even the Iranian people can't, I mean, there's like no phones, no internet. So unless you know somebody who knows somebody who got through somehow, then you don't even know what's going on. You know, so they're purposely, what they've done is like the North Korea, right? They've basically blocked out the world so that they can just do whatever they want to the people. So
Wow.
that's what's happening.
Power when abused is a horrible thing.
Yeah, but Iranian women can't wait to be free.
And that is what is all about. That is what your voice stands for today. That's why I represented the colors of the Iranian
Yes, you
flag. I'm like, hello. I'm like, here's the red. So this is for all the women of Iran to be empowered, to be free, and to be living, you know, their beautiful, gorgeous, lovely selves.
They just
Yes.
want to. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here to remember them and talk about them and talk about their vision for freedom. Really, it is the women of Iran that have continued this fight and will not give it up until it is over.
I mean, we wouldn't have you without Iran. So,
Right?
yes.
Thank you so much for having me here. This was awesome.
Thank you, Artemis.
Thank you for letting me tell my soul story to you and share. And you guys are creating an incredible platform. This is awesome.
Thank you. So thank you all for hanging out with us today on
EmpowHER.
We're here to make sure that women like you get the support, the tools, and the real talk to keep moving forward.